The McLaren GTS, technically McLaren's least powerful car for sale today, but they reckon it's also their most approachable, usable, and practical car they sell. So I figured, what better way to test that than to bring a non-car person along for the ride? Andy, do us a favor, mate, start this thing up.
My pleasure, Rory.
Yeah. No, have you tried saying the thing?
Hocus pocus.
No. Okay. See, this is why you need a car person to sometimes figure this stuff out.
How do we get it?
We'll just cut to the voiceover.
Okay. Well, we did eventually get it open, and once inside, we started to see what McLaren meant about this being a grand tourer. Soft Napa leather seats, premium audio, and remarkably 570 litres of cargo space. So we want to find out, what's the downside? Because that's more cargo space than a Toyota Camry.
What, really?
Yeah, man, that's pretty impressive. In fact, it has more cargo space than any other mid-engine supercar on the market. You have to have very specifically shaped cargo for this to be of benefit to you.
Tube,
long and thin. Yeah. No, I mean, golf clubs, skis,
yeah.
Anything else that's
not
kind of long.
Not necessarily a child.
But the front has a far more generous cargo space. But again, the shape is somewhat specific. So if you're carrying, say, a load of boomerangs or similar, that would work really well up front.
If you're a Tetris expert, you're going to be
this
great.
Is the car for you, yeah. All of which is super impressive considering the car looks like this still, you know? This really elongated rear end kind of reminds me of like a drawn bow almost, like a weapon, you know?
Yeah, do you watch Lord of the Rings and think of McLaren GTS?
I always thought that. When Legolas is drawing his bow, I'm like, hey, GTS.
Yeah.
I'd say it's the defining feature of the GTS design. It's almost like the opposite of other GT cars, like the Ferrari Roma, which has a really long hood and a short rear.
Yeah.
This is kind of the opposite.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, a little bit characteristic, which is quite
Definitely.
cool.
Yeah, it reminds me of the McLaren Speedtail, which I don't know if you've seen one of those, but those look epic.
Okay,
it's like a sort of mini version of those. I think it looks really good.
Sweet. I quite like the rear duck lip. How it's upswept like that.
Quack.
I think it looks pretty cool. Yeah. A couple of other things. The lattice work on a few different parts of the car, especially at the rear. Looks really cool. And the rear light bar, just the
I like the
hexagonal.
Yeah.
It makes me think that there could be a hive of bees living in there, and that's kind of fun.
It kind of is. There is a bit of an angry bee under there.
Oh,
we'll look at that later.
Yeah.
But around the front, I'd say things are a little less aggressive. It's kind of softer, more rounded.
Absolutely. Yeah. Less pronounced. It's less iconic, I would say, at the front.
I think that's kind of what they're going for, though, to a degree. I do think the McLaren styling is somewhat more subtle than some of the other brands that are supercars.
Yeah. So one cool thing that people might not know about the McLaren brand is it's actually started by a Kiwi, Bruce McLaren, here in New Zealand in the
60 years ago, according to this little badge. No, definitely a cool little touch and a nice nod to its Kiwi heritage, which I don't think enough people know about, especially here in New Zealand. It's crazy. Obviously, what does stick out, these big rear air intakes, which funnel air into your golf clubs or your baguettes or whatever you're carrying back there.
Final thing, wheels. You mentioned before that these are the different wheels.
Yeah, these wheels are actually off a GT, not a GTS.
Yeah, still look really, really cool. But on the GTS,
fantastic.
I did have a look at the marking materials, and they've got like this windmill flywheel.
Start your breakfast every day eating a nice bowl of windmill.
I tried to combine flywheel and windmill together, and windmill.
You can do that, man. Hey, words of play. Have fun. And then, of course, these doors. I mean, they're kind of the party trick in terms of the styling, aren't they? They're pretty awesome.
I've never been in a car that has doors that open like
look
this.
At that.
Yeah, quite fascinating.
Yeah, fascinating even. So now that we know how these doors work, maybe we should put them to use and hop inside, have a look.
Yeah, let's jump in.
Welcome to the only McLaren that has a glove box, Andy.
Does this count as part of the
I don't think it does, man. It's a little bonus.
They didn't even add that into the 570.
I know. They're missing a trick, man.
Incredible.
So this is really nice for a GT car. I wouldn't say this interior is class leading when you think of other GT cars like, the Aston Martins of the world or the Bentley Continental. That said, there are some thoughtful and interesting touches that I want to talk about. One,
tell me.
The geometry of the door card, everything kind of sweeps up, the speaker covers, the air vents, that ties together really well.
Yeah.
Also, the steering wheel, you might notice, has 0 buttons on it.
That's exactly what I noticed about it.
Yeah.
And
it's novel by today's standards, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks really cool. It's just like, no, the only thing that you actually need to do when you've got your hands on this is shift. The indicators, they're really interesting because they're kind of like a spoon design with the thing in here. It's like you're going to get them, you can actually whip these out and bake a cake with them.
If you're getting takeaways, you don't have the cutlery. I was actually going to talk about them too. I like them. I like them because they're different, first of all, to every other bloody indicator stalk out there, but they do feel nice to touch. touch, and that makes a big difference.
I don't want to find you in your garage late in the night time, Rory, just
all the lights are off.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the seats are beautiful and soft. The napa leather is really noticeable as soon as you sit in it.
Yeah, and the detailed stitching. I love that they've got like an alternate color. Feels absolutely beautiful.
That all said, I do think the main offender here is this touchscreen in the middle.
Okay.
That is feeling a generation or two old.
It does seem that.
And it is a generation or two old. To be fair, this car is essentially a facelift of the GT, which, came out several years ago.
Oh, okay.
So this is kind of older technology. And that's certainly its weakest point. But it still does everything you need it to do, except for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. But I think that can be forgiven, considering that daily practicality with all that cargo space.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, what is the trade-off for all this cargo space that other cars in this class don't have?
It's a gamble. What is it?
It's the slowest McLaren you can buy today.
Oh.
So let's go and see what that's about. Holy moly! Okay, so this is the slowest McLaren, but it is definitely not slow. Holy moly, man.
302, man.
302.
With two of us.
Oh, man. Okay.
So that's got to be sub 3.
The claim is 3.2.
Yeah.
So we've just gone faster than that with two of us.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, man, this is an absolutely insanely, terrifyingly fast car.
When the revs were building up prior to launch, I was like, oh, we're about to go into space.
Yeah, it felt like it. And actually the back got a little squirrely as well, which was pretty hectic.
That was one of the most fun launches.
Yeah, I agree. So we have 626 horsepower, mountains of turbocharged torque, instant gear changes from the 7-speed dual clutch transmission.
It feels like Back to the Future, man. It feels like we're in like the DeLorean and we're about to travel through time.
Wrapped in a 1,500 kilogram package, So it actually gives it the best power to weight ratio in the GT class. A lot of that lightweight is thanks to the McLaren DNA with their use of carbon fibre through the frame.
Yeah.
And that traces back to its Formula One. I think not enough people talk about that connection back to Formula One and Bruce McLaren, the founder, who is a Kiwi. It really is one more reason to buy McLaren over its competition, especially here in New Zealand, because we have that connection.
Yeah, I mean, certainly if you're in the market for a supercar, you should be looking.
And then in terms of driving dynamics, so what makes McLaren unique among its competitors as well is their use of an old school hydraulic steering rack, meaning that it has that more mechanical feeling. You can feel that road texture, you can understand where the undulations in the road are. And that is a huge feather in its cap, because all these other cars that we've been driving with, purely electric assisted steering feel so numb. And this just communicates so much more.
It's visceral, man.
Yeah, it is. Being mid-engine as well, we have such a sharp turn in. The front end feels light as a feather, and the weight just follows you nicely around the rear. And of course, we have all that weight around the back as well, keeping us planted, giving us heaps of grip. And it just handles like a go-kart.
The level of control is insane.
It really is, honestly. I've not driven a car yet with this good handling. Nothing else compares to it so far.
The RS3, I felt a little nervous about. That was fun.
Yeah.
But I felt a little bit nervous about this. Don't feel nerves.
No, because I think it's because you were saying this earlier off camera that there is next to no body roll. You are like flat as a pancake, going around the corners, maybe even a crepe, with Nutella.
It is le tasty.
Yeah, it is a bit like that. One thing that surprised me about this car, though, looking at the technical details, is that it has an open diff. Now, I won't go into huge technical detail here about what that means, but essentially, most sports cars have something like an LSD, a limited slip differential.
Okay.
This has an open diff, and I was like, what is that about?
Okay.
But McLaren use a system called brake steering, where they essentially brake the inside wheel when you're turning to help the car maintain grip and kind of pivot around the corner.
Oh, okay, because the outer wheels are going faster, or they need to turn faster?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was thinking, oh, is that a bit of a miss? But then when I was pushing this car around the corners, I noticed absolutely no downside to that system whatsoever. I had complete confidence, and I mean, the pace itself is rapid.
All of this together means the GTS might be the McLaren that feels most at home on New Zealand's roads, especially because they've softened up the suspension tuning for a more comfortable ride. So, let's see how well they did by throwing Andy at the wheel.
It's strange to me that this is the exact same car that we're driving, and really it does give a lot of license to be calling this a GT, right? That's the point of it.
Yeah, and I think that's the test we're trying to pass, right? Like, can this pass the test of being a GT car, which is, you know, long distance, comfortable, powerful, you know, with creature comforts? I think so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It just feels comfortable.
Yeah.
It feels, it does feel low slung. It does feel like we're holding on, but you know, I'm not pushing it right now, and it just feels great. When I see the bumps on the road, I expect to be like jostled and jumped around.
Yes.
Nah, it doesn't happen.
Well, actually, on that note, it does have proactive suspension dampening, so it reads the road ahead of you and adjusts the damping rates to accommodate for that. So
I
you're
don't
feeling
understand
that.
what you're talking about.
Do you get it? Yeah. So the GTS is for someone that wants a supercar but doesn't want to suffer for it.
Okay.
Because it has the cargo space, it has an acceptable ride quality, it has supercar speed, it has all of that without much of the downside.
Yeah, I would say, I'd describe it a little bit more ephemerally. I'd say it's got sophistication, it has poise, it has that beastie side to it. It's everything wrapped up in a package that is genuinely weirdly accessible as a runabout car. You wouldn't want to use it for that, but you could use this car as your runabout.
You used a couple of big words there that I didn't understand, but I assume they were all good.
I think something important to call out to our Kiwi viewers on this is it's not often that you get such an amazing brand coming out of little old New Zealand. And so for anyone that is in the market for a supercar, I would absolutely urge you to check out this particular vehicle. And thank you so much to McLaren Auckland
for hooking us up. Yeah. It's been awesome. I will say that also it's important to remember that this is one of the only mid-engine GT cars out there. So if that's what you're looking for, your shopping list is going to be pretty small. My closing comment would be, it's kind of up to you whether you think this truly is a GT because it's marketed as one. Me personally, I think of a GT car, I think of a 2+2 seater, so 4-seater. See how I did the maths there? I don't want to brag, but
going past you, man.
Pretty good.
Do you watch number blocks?
Why do you think they're giving us cars like this, Andy? It's the math, you know? So